Hello, everyone. Let me fix sharing my screen. There you go.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second webinar in the series of AI agent webinars. We'll be starting off in about a minute or two with some time to let everyone join in. In the meantime, while we are waiting for others to join in, how about you tell us where you're connecting from? Do you have someone from, Spain, Italy, Germany? Maybe there is even someone from UK. I think that there won't be so many people from Spain because we have just scheduled another webinar in Spanish. But let us know. Oh, you cannot let us know because the chat is not yet opened. Let me fix that for you. Okay, so now you can chat with everyone. The chat is open. So we have someone from Dublin. Hello.
Hi,
Um,
Dublin. Oh,
Malta. Okay,
nice.
so I have a competition when it comes to having the best weather. Slovakia. Hello.
Fuck yeah. So I'm located in Manago AI's headquarters in Krakow.
Okay, I think we are ready to start. So once again, hello everyone. Welcome to the second webinar in the series. My name is Sergey Sholshevsky. I'm the Product Operations Manager at Manago AI. And today with me, we have Thomas Ramos, who is our AI expert, who's responsible for the development of the entire AI area of Manago AI platform. Hello. Um, Today, we are going to take a look at the analytics part of the AI agent, what it is capable of, how it can help you in your everyday tasks, how is it different from generic data analysis tools, from BI tools, how it can not only analyze the data, but also suggest optimizations, suggest next best actions. All of this is coming up today. Before we start, let's see how do we, or actually how do you as marketers work when it comes to data analysis. Your work is quite straightforward, to be honest, because all you have to do is analyze all the data from dashboards, campaigns, and BI tools. Later, you have to find optimization areas and plan the changes, and later simply implement the changes and repeat the cycle, right? It's quite simple. Well, in a perfect world, definitely not in day-to-day activities. Managing all of this, optimizing everything, analyzing all of the data is a very tedious task. In the real world, the time is your main blocker. We know this. We know that it takes a very long time to perform all of those optimizations, to analyze data, to find the patterns, to implement new campaigns as a result of those findings. Thomas, we had a lot of interviews with our clients. If they were to optimize, to analyze the data, optimize the campaigns, plan everything together, how long would it take actually?
Well, too long, Sergey. That's the honest answer. So we've conducted over 50 interviews with our customers, and we spent dozens, if not hundreds, hours analyzing the data behind those interviews and as follow-up, asking some questions further. And we found that an average time it takes our customer to analyze their campaign's data is days in a month, anywhere between 3 to 8. Some customers, mind you, have their own business intelligence departments, and that's a full-time job, right? So the analysis itself is not only tedious but a very time-consuming job. So up from there, we have at least few hours that are necessary to create an optimization plan for a campaign, right? So if you want to improve the campaign performance, you have to spend hours on ends, days to optimize a single campaign. And then, given that you already analyzed your data and you've created the optimization plan, you need several hours to implement those optimization techniques. Therefore, between now and then, between you got the data to you have a enhanced campaign based on that data, you spend dozens of hours on increasing, the conversion, basically.
Well, that's definitely too long for anyone unless you have a full-time employee who's like e-commerce or marketing optimization manager. And if you don't have such a teammate, how about we give one to you? So we have this AI agent within Manago AI. This one agent who can actually create campaigns, build your brand DNA, so understand your brand, perform analytics, create analytics, create segmentation, create recommendations, and support you in using Manago AI system as well as in your marketing decision. We like to call this one agent, this AI agent, your virtual coworker. So someone who's always there for you, who can perform the tasks given to it, who can actually help you with day-to-day activities. This agent is like an apprentice who can, very good one, who can help you out with pretty much everything that you do from day to day. On the last webinar, if someone was not able to join, we talked about brand DNA and creation. We've been able to show you that the AI agent can analyze your website, understand much better your brand, what you're selling, what kind of language you're using. And I don't mean like French, Italian, Spanish. I mean like the tone of voice that your company uses. Later, we have shown you how the AI agent is able to create on-point, on-brand email templates with text, content, copy, images, subject line, as well as how can it choose the right segment of contacts that this email should be sent to. Our AI agent can also create product recommendation strategies and add those product blocks to your email templates. Today, we'll be focusing mostly on the analytics part of things. So before we head there, I just wanted to mention that AI agent is also capable of supporting you in using Manago AI platform. So if you have like a channel in your license that you're currently not using, let's say web push, maybe you have web push in your license, you're not using web push and you want to start using this channel, you can use the AI agent to guide you through this channel, guide you through the setup. In case of web push, it's actually a bit more complicated than other channels because you have to start collecting consents from the browser. You have to understand much better how to address anonymous contacts. So this is a very good starting point to understand the new channel. Maybe it's not web push, maybe it's something else. You know what you have in the license and you're not using it. AI agent can help you start using this new feature that's sitting there, that's potentially lost revenue. As for analytics, let's skip the slide that we have removed from the other version. We didn't remove it from this version. It was not supposed to be there. However, we'll be talking about 6 different capabilities of the agent that actually make the agent so good at analyzing the data and suggesting next best actions. So in a second, Thomas will tell you everything about the AI agent, analytics part, how it works on the platform, how the analysis is grounded in real data, your data from your account, how it can help you understand what you're seeing on the screen with visuals. That it's obviously conversational as any chat is, and how you can create analytics with just one click from the dashboards in Manego AI. And last but not least, that the insights that it's generating are actionable, meaning that you can follow through with more agent actions to actually implement suggestions and optimizations from this AI agent. So how does come that the AI agent is working on the data on the platform and not, and you don't have to use any external tools?
Right. So, like Sergej said before, agent is an intern, a very clever one, but still an intern. But why is it important to think of it as intern? Because it is where you are, right? The agent isn't an external tool that you have opened in another tab in your browser, or it's not another AI tool that's installed on your laptop. It belongs and it is a part of the platform itself. So it basically plugs in to your workflow and you can find it where you work. So it allows you to smoothly combine different data streams. It allows you to get to the insights that you're after and take actions, because like we've both mentioned before, it's an intern. So it has the ability to take actions on your behalf on the platform. That's why it's so important to think of it as a digital employee. And on the next slide, we have one of the most important points of this webinar. There is no need for data extraction requests. There is nothing to export, right? The agent has the ability to access the data that it lives in on the platform. That's behind the scenes, and it grounds itself in the data that represents your own company. So it's not Chat GPT or Gemini in the browser telling you what are the benchmarks for the industry. It literally understands your own position, and it understands what are the types of data it needs to combine to give you the actionable insight you're after. Another important attribute of the agent is the fact that it does not produce a wall of text, right? If you use AI tools that are available now, you know that they generate a lot of text, right? And it's not only daunting, but after a while, you just the level of noise you're interacting with is too high for you to understand where the signal is. And so we flipped the script on that one, and we've introduced the ability for the agent to actually talk in the visual language, right? It prefers to draw diagrams and present charts instead of, throwing numbers around. It will, and it does it at its own discretion, but it will, present visual representations of your data more often than not. That's because it's much easier for us humans to interpret visually represented data instead of reading it. It's much more abstract to interact with large numbers and try to draw conclusions from it rather than by looking at a chart or a diagram.
So with all of those visuals, we are actually removing the TLDR, too long didn't read effect of other AI tools. We are presenting the data in a much more visual way. The question, Tomasz, is, are we just redrawing what's already on the platform? Are we just taking visuals, taking all of the graphs from main dashboard and changing the colors to green, or is it something else?
Oh, no, absolutely not. The agent, when we have the ability to analyze the data that's available on dashboards like email marketing or CDP or the main dashboard, what the agent truly does, it reaches to the data that is then represented on a dashboard in the form of a diagram, takes that data and analyzes it on itself, and then based on insights and conclusions it can draw, it then presents the new aggregated data in the form of a diagram itself. So it's not the diagrams from dashboards are not re-represented in the agent. The agent creates and generates the diagrams based on its own analysis.
It's really good to hear that. How do we interact with the AI agent? Is it, well, obviously it's an agent, it's a chat, we just ask questions, but do we need to know specific prompts that will yield the best results, or can we just talk freely?
So there are a number of ways. Well, the main attribute here is that the language we speak naturally gives us the widest scope of possibilities and does not restrict us to a certain type of analysis or, as an extension, interface, right? So the most common problem across all service as a service platforms is that the interface they provided was usually an abstract and a very averaged way of looking at the data. But every business is different, right? And the complexity of your business isn't bad. It's just a representation of the complexity of the business, right? So the fundamental change we've experienced with the emergence of the large language models and as an extension of our agent is the fact that the restriction of the interface is now replaced with the wider scope of natural language. Therefore, we can ask any questions we want, and we're not restricted by the chart on a dashboard somewhere. We take the data as is from the database, and we ask the LLM, the agent, or the artificial intelligence, call it what you want, and it can provide us with the analysis that is tailor-made for the data it accesses. Therefore, any analysis is not an average of the customers of the platform, but it's addressing the question at hand and the shape and the amount of data that is accessible. So that's the main advantage of the plain language interface, of the conversational interface, as well as there are quick actions in the agent that allow you to quickly analyze data, but maybe more on that later in the demo.
Well, obviously, here the main advantage would be that we are not bound to specific interface that we have to learn. If you have worked ever with Google Looker Studio, it's currently called Google Data Studio, I believe, or even worse, Microsoft Power BI, which is just on another level of difficulty. Those tools are quite complicated. So learning one in a way where you can operate them with ease and actually produce valuable insights takes a lot of time. And we already know that we don't have even the time to analyze the data, yet alone to create dashboards with some limited insights that are fixed, that are not that are not adjusting over the time. It's something that we don't have the time to do so. That's why we are proposing you to use this AI agent, which can actually pull the insights from the raw data specifically for you, for your company, and also suggest the next best steps. The question here is, where does the data come from? Is it just the main dashboard, or what kind of data we can analyze using the AI agent?
So we can access multiple different types of data on the platform. And with the conversational aspect of the agent, truly there is no limit to what you as a user can access. If the worst case scenario here, if the agent cannot access type of data, or it cannot analyze something for you, it will basically say, hey, I don't have access to that type of data. Or maybe that data is, the amount of data is insufficient for me to provide you with a deeper analysis. But that's the worst case scenario. The common scenario, or the most common scenario, is you either ask it for, I don't know, workflow performance data, and it will say, here are the top 10 best performing workflows, or bottom 5, or the type of analysis you want to do is basically unrestricted by the interface. Now you just ask, hey, what are the 10 top performing email campaigns and what do they have in common? And the agent just goes in, takes the 10 top performing email campaigns, analyzes the subjects and pre-headers and say, hey, the hook is really strong in those three, and the top 5 have, let's say, a personalized name tag that allows you to be more relatable for the end user. But what Sergius was asking also is, we've got the dashboards, namely the CDP, email marketing, and main dashboards that are full of diagrams and charts, and it's really challenging to ingest all the data that's there and understand it is another step, and then drawing conclusions, right? That's the most important part of the analysis. So we've got a very quick solution on each of those 3 dashboards that I'm going to present you in a second. But what you can do is, in a conversation, you can ask the agent, and I'll show you that in a second as well. You can basically ask, hey, please put all the data from the CDP, email marketing, and main dashboards into one data stream, and then draw conclusions from it. Tell me what are the trends that I might have been missing, and then recommend some next steps for me based on that analysis. But that's the whole point, and that's the next slide that it's all about. So we're not only going, hey, analyze that data for me, because then you might sit there and say, so what? Yeah, right. You've told me there is, 15% increase here or 3% drop there, but what do I do with it? And so the agent's inclined and its natural ability is to provide you with actionable insights. So you don't necessarily get a raw number or a table or a chart. You are getting an insight. Hey, if you try this, you might actually get to perform better on that front. Or if you consider, having a closer look at a certain aspect, you might find that there is a type of information that you haven't got to yet. And so I think the most prevalent scenario here is when we analyze data from email marketing campaigns or CDP dashboard, and based on the actionable insights, we can ask the agent to suggest or recommend to us creating a segment that we haven't uncovered yet. And based on that analysis and that recommendation, the agent can provide us with characteristics, let's say attributes of that segment that would enable us to better understand the customer base in that segment and to provide even more personalized campaigns that will, provide a better lift. So that's the 6 layers of what you could and should think about when you interact with the agent, how to operate that digital employee we provide.
I really believe it's worth stressing out how important building the right segments is actually. So whenever you're addressing your audience, you have the choice to either send one mass campaign and optimize this one mass campaign, or actually split it into several different smaller campaigns, all revolving the same topic. However, with the content much better suited for specific contact segments. So depending on your business type, this might be a segment of VIP customers versus economic buyers, or this might be very simple segments such as those who buy men fashion versus women fashion, stuff like this. Uh, it's really worth digging deeper into the segmentation, as you got the best platform on the market. It is capable of personalizing the content. You can do pretty much whatever you want with all of those channels. It's just a matter of finding the right segments, and AI agent can actually do all of this for you. To wrap up the theoretical part between this webinar and the previous one, I just wanted to mention the flow that you could be getting from Agentic AI, which is you can start with data analysis. So analyze everything that's on your Manago AI account, find the gaps, find the segments that you're missing, and later ask the agent to create those missing segments. So it will uncover what kind of segments you could be having within your industry for your specific business, and that you're missing currently, and later create content tailored specifically to those segments. So even if it really doesn't matter what you're selling, if this is shoes or if it's holiday packages, whatever it is, there are segments of people with different needs, different interests, different tolerance for marketing communication, and the AI agent can find it and later build proper content to suit those needs. This in terms really benefits your business when it comes to open rate, click-through rate, engagement, purchases made, all of those things. If you add 2% plus 2 point percent plus 3 point percent, all of this compounds to much better results for your business. And now to the live demo part, where Thomas will show you how you can use the AI agent on the platform to get the best out of it. Just a quick note before we start. The demo we'll be showing you is based on a limited set of data. Now, while the demo account of Manic AI has very rich contact and purchase data, it's not so rich when it comes to email marketing data, something that you will see when Thomas will be presenting, which is actually not the case for your accounts. Because on your accounts, the AI agent is using your data. Here on the demo, we'll be using the limited data from the demo environment.
Absolutely. And so, like Sergej mentioned, we'll be showing you data from a testing environment, simply because we cannot demo from a live environment. It's basically not safe because we got live data there. Let me just check if I've got the right environment here. Okay, here we go. That's it. So like Sergej mentioned before, also, please mind you that the best demo you can have is if you request access to trial the agent, and you have your own implementation data that you understand and reflects your business, then using the agent to analyze it will enable you to see the value of the tool much quicker, because the limited set of data we have here will only show you how you can come into a deeper interaction with the data while using the agent. But the true value is you seeing the data that you've been looking at, thinking, what do I do about it? What does it tell me? And having the ability to quickly go through the analysis and figuring out the next steps. Also worth mentioning is that it wasn't a figure of speech when we've said you can use you have the analysis one click away. So here we are at the main dashboard, and I can simply hit analyze, and the agent comes in and starts analyzing the main dashboard. So you'll see this while using the agent, the gray box. It basically means that the agent, so the digital employee, interpreted my command and thought, okay, hey, it seems like the user wants me to get to some sort of action on platform. Therefore, I'll have to find out do I need to use a tool to do it. And it found a tool to get the dashboard data, right, for the last 30 days. And then it got to, a very overview level of the analysis, talking about some changes in the data and the trends that you can quickly get from a very glance at the dashboard's data. But also it quickly got to a point where you see how much revenue is coming out from each of those channels. What is important is, like I've mentioned before, the agent's inclination to recommend or suggest any next step based on that data, right? So if the agent here has mentioned that if you want the story behind a dip or a spike on a specific day, I can pull the campaign off or workflow driving it. If website revenue underperforming other channels concerns you, I can check which segments or on-site campaigns are tied to it. Actually, we can go off script And instead of going to the next prompt I've got ready for the presentation, let's dig in to the website revenue underperforming on the channel. And I'll say, concerns me. And let's see what the agent comes back with. Like I said, this wasn't planned. This is basically me thinking, okay, that is really interesting. We've analyzed this dashboard with one click, and now we're digging into a deeper level of analysis based on the previous very shallow level of the analysis. And so the agent goes in and finds, the key finding is that there are no active workflows. That's really concerning. Workflows that are typically captured on-site behavior into revenue, cart abandonment, browse abandonment, back in stock, exit intent triggers. Without any running workflows, on-site behavior isn't being converted into attributes. So the agent interprets the data, allows us or enable us to find out very quickly what are the missing chain links in our implementation and recommends the next steps for us, because it says what it points to. No workflows means missed re-engagement moments tied to on-site actions. And on-site recommendation frames could be doing more, giving healthy traffic and fresh needs. And it also says, which is extremely important, that I cannot create workflows directly, and I can add on a side note here that not yet anyway, but potentially soon, and we can talk about it in a second. But the fastest next step in the platform is building a cart abandonment or browse abandonment workflow tied to our website behavior. And that is extremely valuable in itself, because we have templates of those workflows available. So even though the agent has no ability to create workflows yet by itself, it provides us with enough information for us to pick up where it cannot go and create those workflows, in a few simple steps. But that's let's say that's a very good hint at what the agent can do and how it can support you in your natural workflow. So let's go now to actually getting some meaty parts in, let's call it. So this is a very, very favorite prompt of mine. It says, join the data from 3 dashboards, the CDP, email marketing, and main, into a single data stream. Draw conclusions, characterize any interesting trends, and recommend the next steps. And what we basically ask the agent to do is to look at the 3 dashboards, aggregate any insights from those dashboards, identify trends that would, identifications of those trends would take us hours, if not days, and then recommend any steps based on that data analysis. And as you can see, the agent took 3 tools, 3 different dashboards, right? And it pulled the data from those dashboards for the last 30 days and says, so the joint picture is the growth is at the account level, right? So revenue is in the prior 30-day window is up 2.7%, 24% year on year, and it goes on an aggregated level analysis between those 3 dashboards. But the insight that finds its place at the very top is the email, our top revenue channel here, is fraying at the edges while account growth continues. So that's a very good insight on hey, we should look at the email campaign performance. like I've mentioned before, this is not yet available in production, but very soon. So we can open full screen on that dashboard on this chart and filter it to find, hey, what is the open rate currently and what is the previous open rate? So we see it has fallen slightly, but what does it tell us really, right? How do we attempt to take action on that insight? So after this three-layered analysis between those three dashboards, we've got the recommended next step. So segment before you scale volume further. That is extremely valuable insight. So it basically says before we grow our our contact base, we should attempt to segment better because we can capitalize, we can convert much quicker the contacts that we already have versus the ones that we attract from our website or other marketing channels. I could potentially, use the second recommended step. So, like I said before, you can quickly understand what are the common threads between the top performing campaigns. What are the shared attributes between the top performing subject lines and pre-headers. But also, I think the third insight is also extremely valuable about how we've got a lot of unidentified visitors to our website. But let's stick with the first one, which is actually a very good segue to where I wanted to take you. So the next prompt is what we've promised. So based on the analysis between those three dashboards, propose a segment I can create from those conclusions. For each segment you suggest, justify why this undiscovered segment must be addressed and describe exactly how to build it based on its characteristics. I think that in itself is one of the most actionable insights you can get, right? Out of information that's been aggregated across a very vast amount of data, we get something that we turn, that we convert, that we turn into revenue stream, right? So we haven't thought about the email fatigue risk, right? Why this must exist. The CDP shows too many messages as an opt-out for reason for over 6,000 contacts. And this is extremely useful because the first thing we don't want in our existing customer base is for them to unsubscribe, right? We want them to be receiving our communication. We want them to be engaged. So the fatigue risk is an extremely valuable insight. And frankly speaking, we can take this description and build a segment out of it. We'll do that in a second. Let's go in and find out other segments that the agent has found and disengage but still opt in. So, click to open rate fell from almost 31% to 26%. So people do open and engage. People who open engage less. So there is something going on with our content in our email campaigns. High engagement, non-converting leads. That's also a very interesting segment, as well as cart abandonments without a purchase. And those are only 4 segments that we can quickly create out of the analysis that took us about a minute and a half. Let's build this segment of contacts who are opted in and received 4 or more email sends in the last 14 days, because we don't want to address that segment more. And so, as you can see, the agent has got in, took an action, it upserted a segment, built it for us, and we can go in and start using this segment if we think there is too many messages sent to them.
Tomasz, quick question. Is this segment only to be used within the agentic AI, or is it like a real segment that we can later use to send emails without the agent if we desire to?
Oh, absolutely not. So we see that the segment is called AI demo segment, right? And we
It
should be
won't be
able.
there on the demo account because demo is a fixed demo. It has fixed
Right.
data, so it won't be here on the list. But speaking
No,
of
the
customer
segment.
accounts,
So anything that the agent creates, be it a segment or an email or an AI recommendation strategy, a subject line, anything that the agent creates is a true artifact. So it's an element that we've created on platform. Therefore, we can use it, not only with the use of the agent. There is another prompt I wanted to show our viewers. And I wanted to summarize my account's health over the last 90 days. Revenue, transactions, average order value, and channel engagement. I want to end with the single number that stands out most. And why it is important? Because frankly speaking, the different types of analysis we can have with the use of agent or any external tools provide us with a lot of information, and it's much better for us to focus on a single insight, like we've done before. We've had data aggregated across the 3 dashboards, but it wasn't 15 charts and 20 pages of analysis. It was 5 points. And out of those 5 points, we could go on and dig deeper into those numbers. But instead of trying to understand our channels or our customers, we turned it into an action point and found those 4 segments that we've built one for. And so here is 90-day analysis of this account's implementation. And we know we've got 782 transactions. What are the average ordered value? And obviously we can filter those diagrams and charts. But the thing that we asked the agent to provide us with was the number that stands out most. So only 2 campaigns per channel in 90 days. All those channels send only two campaigns in the last quarter. And the engagement and it looks healthy where it exists. But with the little sending volume, the numbers reflect a couple of individual campaigns rather than a stable trend. And revenue is being generated almost entirely from a hand of touches rather than an ongoing program. And so this is the type of analysis we've always wanted, not to look at the data and think, so what now? What does it actually mean, right? It's not only the conclusion that we can see here that is valuable in itself, because we can ask here, so what would you suggest me doing to improve? So it's not only that we can have conclusions ready-made for us, but we can also ask for the actionable insights, right? Increase sending frequency. It might sound obvious, but the second one is extremely valuable. Start automating, send follow-up campaigns in a different channel, right? Those are the insights that we can now take action on. But the most valuable thing was the previous conversation we've had with the agent, where we've turned analysis into a artifact, into a segment in about a minute and a half, maybe two. We've had something that we can then implement into our own workflows, not only build automations, but we can, with the use of agent, we can create an email campaign based on the description of that segment. So what we could do is, if we follow up to this segment, what we can do is, can you so let's ask the agent to provide us with the prompt, with the command that we will then use to generate a email campaign for that segment. And as you can see, in a split of a second, we get a nice nice command that will address this particular segment's needs. And based on that prompt, the agent will generate the entire copy, subject lines, or add recommendation frames, generate images, and will be ready to send to address that uncovered previously segment in, let's say, 5 minutes. So this is the type of actionable insights that we wanted to provide our customers with. And there is no better time and no better way to see the value of it rather than use it, which I would strongly recommend and I would encourage you to do. This is all I wanted to show you in the demo. So I'll give back the word to Sergiusz, or if there are any questions, I'll be very happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Thomas, for showing us how it works in practice. You have the chat open, you have the Q&A section open. If you have any questions, please let us know. In the meantime, while we are waiting for your questions, Thomas, if our audience were to get just one prompt that they should test today, right now, right after the webinar, what would it be? What should they ask the AI agent to analyze on their accounts to get the most value out of the agent?
Well, I would say it's the first prompt we've really started with. So analyzing 3 dashboards data in one stream, because that is by far the most time-consuming task any marketer on our platform would approach. Taking the 3 fragmented data sets and try to put them together to draw actionable conclusions out of them. This is the single prompt I think would not only save most time to our customers, but also provide with the most unexpected results, the most curious moments of aha. So that's what it means.
So this is a groundbreaking prompt that you should try out. Just copy it from the chat. Give it a try right after the webinar. We are still waiting for your questions. If there are no questions, it only goes to show that we have shown you everything there was to show. In the meantime, I also wanted to mention that very soon we will be running a webinar about MCP, which is the tool that can be connected to cloud and also other AI tools, but let's not waste our time on things like ChatGPT. So you can connect Cloud from Anthropic with Manager AI, and this is called MCP, and this lets you dig through the data from Manager AI and also perform actions on Manager AI from within Cloud, which will also have this added benefit that you can not only browse through the data of Manager AI, but also from other tools. So on this webinar, we'll be showing you how you can manage different data sources, like let's say your BI tool, Google Analytics, and Monego AI. For now, we have one question. When the AI hub with workflow building will be available? So let's talk about our roadmap.
Okay. So for now, we've received plenty of feedback. So we've received plenty of feedback about the support for the agent to build workflows. It is the most obvious next module that we would like to provide you with. Now, and we've identified three aspects. So generating, analyzing, and optimizing workflows. It's what is on the roadmap already. We know that generating and analyzing workflows are two separate streams we would like to provide you with from the get-go together. However, if any of these capabilities, generating or analyzing, would be ready first, then we won't hold on to provide them together. However, there's still some aspects of the agent that we are working on. So we received plenty of feedback. You may have noticed agent is still in its beta version. So we've gathered a lot of feedback, over 300 items that are on the list, and we're still optimizing and stabilizing the work of the agent. So before we go on to add a new, extremely useful, but really challenging at the same time capability of creating and analyzing workflows, we want to make sure that the agent is fully capable and stable for you to work with. And so that's the answer for the workflows. Can Monego AI be used for demand planning? I would really need to give that one to Sergio. I believe if that's...
Sure. The answer is yes and no. What it can do is it can analyze your current sales, draw conclusions like if you have periodic jumps in the sales, let's say just before a specific holiday, specific part of the year, and plan accordingly. What it cannot do is interpret real-time marketing, like having access to internet with specific data. Let's say that you want to do demand planning before FIFA World Cup, something that we just had with a very satisfactory results of the final. Thank you, Spanish team. However, it will not have the access to the internet to find out real-time marketing and plan accordingly. So based on your past purchases, your past transactional data, drawing conclusions from this, yes. Drawing conclusions from real-time marketing, what's happening in the world, this is not something that's possible right now. We also have not just using stock and sales data from my ERP. Okay, so this is a very good example of where to not use the agent on the Monego AI platform, but instead use MCP. So please join us during the webinar on MCP, because this is actually a very good example. We might actually steal this one from you as an example for our MCP webinar, because this is something that can be done using Claude. So getting the data from your ERP, analyzing it against the Monego AI data, and coming up with conclusions.
And actually, this one point of adding external data to the agent for the analysis in aggregation with existing data on platform is another point on our roadmap. So you'll find soon enough, you will find the ability to upload external data sets to our agents. Be it a spreadsheet or a CSV file or a PDF. You can basically throw in some data set, tell it what it is, and it will combine the external data set with the platform data to provide you with those insights based on the data that it has no access to currently because there's no interface or there's no integration with external data sources.
There's one more question in the Q&A section from Patricia. When I ask, give me a quick health check of my email marketing, the AI agent focuses on mass mailings, periodic mailing, birthday emails, stuff like this, but it does not include the workflow emails, which is true. This is a limitation that we are aware of. Based on the feedbacks from our clients, we know that workflows and inclusion of workflow analytics is number one topic that's common among your feedbacks. Thomas can tell you a bit more about our plans for workflow analytics. But for now, that's true. What you're seeing is a real limitation for today. I'll repeat what Tamas said a bit earlier, that we will be extending the capabilities of the agent to work with workflows. So this includes creation of the workflows, analytics of the workflows, and later even an optimization of workflows. This will be coming within a quarter, more or less. We have to make sure that the current capabilities of the agent are fully stable before we can commit to extending the possibilities of the AI agent. So yes, this is coming to Manager AI, just not yet available. This was answered. Well, I should have clicked the button. Okay, anyway, thank you so much for joining in today. I hope you really enjoyed this webinar. Feel invited for the next one, as well as the MCP one, which will be really interesting. Thank you so much and have a nice week.
Have a good week, everyone. Thank you very much.